Locked on target.
Hi crew, this is your host Captain Chris, and today we have a different kind of video. Recently, a lot of my friends over at the Alloy 7 community and the RPG Club picked up copies of Guild Wars 2 while it was 75% off. Now, Guild Wars 2 is a game I'm very passionate to say the least about because Guild Wars 1 was one of my favorite games of all time. Now, I am not one of the most top prosperous players in the game, but I have poked around a bit more than the average player. This video contains 10 tips that I have gleaned and wished I would have known when I first started my second journey in Tyria. This is not a comprehensive list, but it is a useful one. Take this list into consideration, but do not let my advice change how you want to experience the game. So, before we begin, Excelsior. First is to explore. You get massive amounts of exploration XP just by poking around the map. I don't know the XP figures, but I'm guessing you could at least get to level 40 just with exploration XP alone. Guild Wars 2 has many varied and beautiful locales. I still maintain that this is one of the best games to just climb something and look around at the world. Guild Wars 2 is vast, but not as vast as Guild Wars 1, but still vast. It is manageably vast, as I have made it to 100% map completion, and it is nowhere as frustrating as mapping is in Guild Wars 1. Another benefit to exploration is encountering enemies that have been spawned by the server but not killed by players. These enemies accumulate what's called bonus XP to more than twice the value of their original XP itself, so it is just as important to find areas where most people haven't been than it is to find the quickest way to get from point A to B. Second is always, when you are fighting, be under the effect of some kind of food item. Food is really cheap to buy in this game, and it offers flat stat benefits such as plus power or precision, which affect your damage and let you kill things faster, but also nets you 10% bonus XP per kill. It is extremely useful to be under the effects of food at all times. Food and preparations are key to endgame content, and I would also consider maxing the chef profession on your first character because 1, it's cheap, 2, it's useful, and 3, it will net you about 10 levels of experience by getting your cooking up to level 400. There are numerous guides out there on how to max your cooking at 400, but for your first character, just take it easy and try to avoid all the power leveling methods in the game. I just want you to be aware that if you are stuck at a level, it is an option just to cook to your next level. The third tip I have is mine, harvest, and gather everything you see. Gathering gives you materials, which for now can be used to craft and boost your levels with crafting, but we will get into that later. For now, just look at the other benefits that gathering resources gives. It gives scalable XP. This means you will get more XP from mining the same node at level 80 than you would at level 40, but it will always give the same progress towards your level up regardless of what level you are. This means you will always be gaining XP and gold while leveling up when you're mining, gathering, or harvesting. Now, late game, it might not be worth your time to gather these materials, as you will be making more materials per hour just by farming gold and buying them wholesale on the auction house. But that is due to the nature of how gold acquisition works endgame, and you don't need to worry about that just yet. For now, just mine, harvest, and gather every node you see. I would also like to add, before I go on to the next topic, that mining, the gathering resources, is actually a great source of gold early in the game. So if you just want to not craft at all, still do this process because you'll get a lot of money just by gathering materials and selling them on the auction house. It's how I funded my first character, and I was never wanting for any money when I was leveling up. Fourth is don't sell to a vendor NPC any salvageable item or weapon. Either sell it directly on the Black Line trading post or salvage them using salvage kits bought from most merchants and some karma vendors. The materials will almost always be worth the using of the salvage kit itself, but you may want to check the auction house for your item's price before you salvage it. Sometimes even a low-level rare item or yellow text item goes for multiple gold on the auction house because it is the best item or best weapon or item available for that level, and it might even be unusable to your class. Early on, that's probably more than you will make in 3 days steady play, but not so much for people that have leveled their characters to 80. You can make about 4 gold an hour with little to no effort by joining what's called a Karka train, which will not be discussed here in this video, but I will explain in a later video once members of the RPG community here at Alloy 7 get closer to the end game. It is also important to note that sometimes it is impossible to salvage or sell items that you have gotten for free due to a leveling or spawning with them. To get rid of these items when they are no longer useful or wanted, simply right-click on their portrait in-game and destroy them. Before I move on, I just want to talk about Magic Find, or the ability to find rare items. By salvaging items, you can also get Essence of Luck or other luck-giving items. Double-click these in your inventory to boost your Magic Find levels. Once your Magic Find has hit a certain threshold, you will get a percentage that goes for all of your characters on your account bonus to your Magic Find. Fifth is do almost every event you see except escort, or I should say most escort events. Escort events are only worth doing when they lead to what is called an event chain, or if you need to get from one area to the map to the next. You can determine an event chain through just experience with the maps, or reading the event dialogue and taking a stab as if it is a chain or not. By and large, events are worth doing simply for XP gain, but you will also get a sizable chunk of karma, which is important later in the game for your first end-game armor set, as well as a decent amount of gold. Usually you can knock out your heart quest or an area objective simply by doing an event in that area. Events randomly spawn, and there are few that lead to larger global events called world bosses. If you see a large amount of people in an area waiting for a world boss to start, it will be worth your time to stay with them and wait a while. I'll cover world bosses more in depth for the community in another vid. But for now, just know that world bosses are a thing, and eventually you'll be wanting to do them late game once a day. Sixth is join a guild. I know this goes against a lot of the lone wolf mentality that we as RPG players have, but maxed guilds have perks that give their members flat bonuses to XP gain, gold gain, magic find, and research reduced cost for waypoint traveling, as well as a host of other benefits. Because Guild Wars 2 gives players the option to join multiple guilds, some guilds require you to represent them 100% of the time, or commonly seen in chat as 100% rep required. Please do not join any community that requires 100% representation when starting out, because this only limits your exposure to the game's communities and all possible contacts you could make. I do not support this mentality, nor do I think it has any place in a game such as Guild Wars. We are a community, and we should be able to support any guild we wish to or could benefit from as players. It's as ludicrous a notion as me saying to unsubscribe to all other YouTube channels other than my channel, because we are trying to spread our influence. There are multiple examples of the benefits of being a part of multiple guilds. One example is my friends and I own a guild with a max guild storage that literally we just use the guild storage in it, and that's it. So we can trade items or store items so that we can all use them. I also joined a guild that specializes in PvP, so if I'm in the mood to go play structured PvP, I just represent that guild, and I'll switch to that guild's chat and see if I can find a group. As well as a guild that does player versus environment for world bosses and dungeons, and I'm also part of yet another guild where I just like the people and just like to hang out with them. Another plus is that it's always useful to have someone you can ask a question to if you're struggling with a concept or portion of the game. Guilds are generally super helpful. If one is not helpful to you, leave and join another. They're very plentiful in this game. My 7th tip is 100% explore and complete all the race's starting areas. Not only will this get you about to level 50, it will net you a lot of quick travel hubs and teach you many of the mechanics of the game. I find that events in these zones typically have the most thought put into them and generally are the most fun. Not saying that there are not interesting events and heart quests in other areas, but I believe that the starting areas have a special level of polish to them that is also found in the level 80 areas. But not as much polish goes into the in-between levels. I'm looking at you, Timberland Falls. My 8th tip to you is fill your character slots up as soon as you can, even if you do not plan on playing your other characters anytime soon. This is simply to start accumulating your birthday presents on your account with all your characters. Your characters have a unique birthday tied to their day that they were created. As per Guild Wars tradition, you get birthday presents from the devs on this day. First year nets you some pretty cool things that I won't spoil, but year 2 is the real prize with the birthday cake launcher. Basically, this item gives you and your party unlimited free food buffs. The downside is that the buff only lasts 15 minutes as opposed to the 30-minute or hour-long food buffs possible with traditional food items. My 9th tip to you is learn to manage your inventory effectively. If your inventory is full, don't destroy your items, but try this first. Go to your inventory by pressing I or up in the toolbar up top left and hover over the gear icon and click on it. Then click Deposit All Crafting Materials. This will send all of your crafting materials to the bank. You don't have to withdraw these materials from the bank to use them in crafting. The game will do so automatically if the material is in the material storage. Also, the first thing you should save up for and buy with your gold is larger bags. Try not to buy the largest bag on the auction house as they can be quite expensive, but budget yourself accordingly. I recommend buying all 10 slot bags until you can afford at least all 15 slot bags. Then from 15 to 18 and from 18 to max. Be aware that different types of bags serve different purposes, and you can read up on these in the object tooltips. Sometimes you will be able to strike a bargain on a bag on the auction house, but will be inconvenienced because items in that bag will never appear when you talk to vendors. 10th is log in and do your dailies every day that you can. Dailies have been redesigned since September 2014's update to the game. It is extremely easy to do some dailies while hard to do others. And all dailies now give reward chests that give bonuses to the activity that you are doing. PvE dailies give experience scrolls, materials, and karma swigs, while PvP and World v World might offer World v World experience scrolls and rank track experience consumables. These are huge boosts to the leveling process, and by logging in every day, just by logging in, mind you, you are building laurels and other rewards which are used in endgame for top level ascended gear, as well as accumulated gold find by 2% every 28 days. That is huge just by taking the time to log in each day. By doing 3 daily quests, you'll complete the necessary dailies to get the 10 achievement points per day. You can get account level XP modifiers, skins, and even gems for the gem store by doing achievements in game and hitting a certain threshold. While doing dailies won't get you big rewards overnight, doing them consistently will steadily progress your account towards getting some of the larger rewards. Well, that wraps up my 10 tips for starting out in Guild Wars 2. But I'm not the only player to ever play Guild Wars 2 that will watch this. If you are one of those players, please give 10 tips to the newbies in the comments below, or just some tips that I may have missed. Over the next few videos for this series, I will be giving an introduction to each class in Guild Wars 2, so you can learn what other classes bring to the table, or, check out if you want to play that class. Thanks for joining me for this video, and if you like what you see, give a like, comment, and subscribe. Again, this is Captain Chris, and until we meet again, stay on target.